This piece, Choice Millionaire, Conjunctions, is an addendum to the Wind of War, the Carnival of Rust. We've linked the Carnival of Rust in the description. Unfortunately, we've run out of time to be able to re-render this and tag it on to the Carnival of Rust, so we're just releasing it separately for you. Choice Millionaire, Conjunctions. In addition to the major conjunctions described above in the Carnival of Rust, 2 conjunctions have been identified by the civil service that allow opportunities to engage tortured souls enslaved by the Druge. Both opportunities involve dealing with Orc forces and provide a chance to free at least one Imperial whose spirit has been trapped by the Druge. Defeating the tormented Imperial is not enough. Success will need priests skilled in the arts of exorcism to permanently release them from their servitude. In both cases, appeals have been made to 2 Imperial titles, the Highborn Master of the School of Exorcism and the Imperial Necromancer, to ensure these tormented spirits are laid to rest before they can inflict more harm on their fellow soldiers. Ceramic Meander. A cadre of tormented highborn souls led by a fallen exarch are active in Zenith. If the master of the School of Exorcism is able to lay the spirits to rest, their chapter pledges to offer support to the school in Tabernacle. 2 years ago, the highborn armies were forced back out of Iteri into Ridout as the Druge swept into Zenith. The barbarians established several encampments where they gathered captured citizens. These poor people were subject to torture and cruel experimentation by Druge Tepel. Through the intervention of heroes from Anvil, a raid was made at Ceramic Meander to free prisoners and return them to the Empire. Reports from those exploring the area indicate that the former encampment is no longer in use as prisons, but there are still Druge using it as a base of operations. The Malum Orcs are accompanied by a small cadre of tortured souls, including a fallen exarch, Benedictine of the Children of the Elms, who fell during the retreat. They stood fast against the advancing Orcs to allow fellow soldiers of the valiant Pegasus to escape westward, and their reward for their courage and their loyalty ought to have been swift passage through the labyrinth to reincarnation. Instead, they and the Children of the Elms guardians who fell fighting alongside them have been denied their rest and forced into service by the Druge. Success or failure? The new exarch of the Children of the Elms has reached out to the master of the School of Exorcism and begged them to free Benedictine and the guardians that are enslaved alongside him. If they can be laid to rest, the Sibella-based chapter has sworn to show their appreciation by joining the Leaden Toll in supporting the school. The chapter has many skilled practitioners of the apothecary arts among them, and they've pledged to provide the master with potions from the Desains of the Labyrinth of the Master in return for token payment. This will add a ministry to the master's use. If the tortured souls aren't dealt with, they'll continue to be a threat to the people of Zenith, denied the surcease of death and forced to continue serving the Druge. Eridemia's Isolation. Yolande of Heaven's Watch Spire, a powerful seer, has been enslaved by the Druge as a tormented soul. Several Urizen seers are proposing an attempt to make contact with the seer and to break their bond to the Druge, or to lay them to rest. They've reached out to the Imperial Necromancer and asked them to organise a mission to try and speak with Yolande. Hidden away among the forested foothills of Clipion lies Eridemia's Isolation, a tranquil and quiet mountain valley filled with verdant trees and ferns. It's long served as a refuge for Urizeni stargazers and mystics wanting solitude and peace to work. Since the arrival of the Druge, it's been used as a base for patrols to warn of the Empire's return to the area. A former resident of the valley was the reclusive seer Yolande of Heaven's Watch Spire, and it transpires that this venerable researcher of Net of the Heavens was captured and transformed, alongside many of the Sentinels, into one of Druge's more powerful and twisted creations. Some of the researcher's former peers have requested that an effort be made to reach out to them, to see if there's any chance at all that their control by the Druge could be broken. They refer to some of the stories of the tormented souls freed from Druge control during the liberation of Rykos. There is some hope that, given Yolande's commitment to reason and legendary poise, one or more fellow seers might be able to reach Yolande and help break them free. They've asked the Imperial Necromancer to put together a group with some volunteer seers to kill the Druge supporting Yolande and convince them to either turn against the Druge or at least consent to their own exorcism. Success and failure. The ultimate goal is to see Yolande either laid to rest or return to Urizen. Just making the attempt could provide useful information about the nature of tortured souls. If one of these two resolutions is reached, the seers of Urizen will recognise the difficult task by providing the Imperial Necromancer with a ritual text of the Mantle of the Ashen Spider. It's a ritual similar to the Chasuble of Majesty that uses winter magic to enchant a priest with the ability to wield significantly more liao during a ceremony of exorcism. While they've been considering placing this ritual in Urizen lore, they believe the Imperial Necromancer might be in a better position to determine what should be done with it. If Yolande of Heavenwatch Spire is left to aid the Druge, their mastery of divination will provide a valuable insight to the Druge. It's not easy to predict what this might mean, and Yolande is operating without the support of a coven, but their magical skills handily fill a gap in the Druge's traditional magical lore. At the very least, their aid would be of great use to the tainted basilisk.